Hey guys, what's up? ThirstyThursten here of TT Studios working on Yosemite Forest Ranger, and today I want to bring you guys to the tutorial of the video that I showed you, I think yesterday. I want to correct some things that were mentioned in the comments of the video. First of all, I got some comments where the video looked like pixel soup, I think one of the words was. I found it very good. And you were right, I didn't check the settings of my recording software, so yes, it looks kind of like both. Pixel soup, I like it. What we're gonna be creating today, and I hope that the settings are better now and that it's gonna look a bit better and come across better, is we're going to create a foliage swapping system. With this foliage swapping system, you basically have instant static meshes in your level, placed by PCG or anything you would like. I'm using PCG in this example. With those instant static meshes, we're going to, at runtime, swap them for actual actors. So what I showed you yesterday, I'm going to remove my webcam right now so you guys can see the full extent of the video. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to swap these instant static meshes for pickup actors. If you look in the top left corner, you can see that they are being swapped. If I walk past, you see I'm walking past a lot of items. And if I am not picking them up, they will be swapped back for their instant static meshes. You can see that in the top left now, pickup actor swap to ISM. It's just a print statement I put in there to show it. Just a disclaimer, the thing that I'm showing right now is a packaged dev build because Unreal Engine is still not cooperating with OBS, my recording software. So they're still being a little bit non-friends and it's annoying. So if I equip my axe over here, you can see that this tree will also be swapped for a actor that we can chop down. The funny thing about these trees is I'm using the tree chopping system by Games by Hyper, and I'm also using the inventory system of Games by Hyper, which you just saw here. Works really well, and it also has the pickup actors that we'll be using, or that I'm gonna be using, but you can use anything you want. So these logs, they spawn after you chop down the tree. We can also just walk towards a tree right over here. The thick one is another choppable tree. As you can see, I'm walking past a lot of pickup actors and they all become pick-upable, or past items that should be pickup items and they being swapped. There is another tree that is being swapped right now to a tree chopping actor. However, if I walk away from it, it will spawn back as a instant static mesh. The reason this works like that is there is like a tree supermaster that basically checks for the collision or the hit from the axe, and then it swaps the actual choppable tree. So that makes it really easy and clean to work with the assets in that way. So yeah, this is what we're gonna be creating. Alright, well, my GPU just crashed. Unreal Engine is running in the background and it's not liking it. So yeah, let's just get back when I get loaded in. But yeah, this is what we're going to be creating right now. So let's go. I'll see you on the other side. Alright, now that we're on the other side, let's talk about this a little bit. So why are we creating this? Why do we even want to make this? What I have found is that one of my people that were playtesting my game, they had to wait a long time. They had a lower spec PC and they had to wait a long time at load up of the game to actually get into the game. As well as I had to wait before a long ass time before my editor actually booted up. And that had to do with all the construction scripts and everything. So my pickup actors, and I'm going to show you these a little bit to give you some context. So like I said, I use the inventory system from Hyper, Games by Hyper. This is their pickup master. Let me just pull it over to the other screen here. This is their pickup mesh. So let me try to get that over here. And in their construction script, so they have a master, and the construction script actually sets the what you call it, the static mesh. Well, initialize item, and then the initialize item sets the static mesh based on the value in the data table for the items. So that means that before I used the PFS, the procedural foliage system, and that thing would then just spawn foliage actors, right? So it would spawn these actors all over the map, everywhere, because you need to have all these actors in your level, and that would mean that there can be 100,000 or more pickup actors and other kinds of actor foliage in your level, which all had a construction script going when you started the editor. But also when you have a package project, or you try to, well, I don't know if it actually gets cached or anything when you run it in editor, but that also just took a while. But also with a package project, when you run it, all these construction scripts, of course, get run at begin play or right before begin play or whatever. Doesn't really matter. It just means that everything has to load in. And with this system that we're going to build today, we don't have to really wait for it to construct the scripts, I guess, because it's just an instant static mesh. That's one reason why we want this. Another reason that I personally like a lot is PCG, the new procedural content generation, which makes it more easy to filter where you do and do not want to spawn your items. I will share my PCG graph somewhere through this video, maybe at the end. I'll timestamp it probably. The thing is, I have rivers in my other level from Riverology, and I had some areas where I didn't want to spawn anything. Now, if you want to use the PFS, then you'd have to go work with the procedural foliage blocking volumes. They work, but it's just very annoying and hard to get that correctly, especially if you're working with a river. So that would mean you actually have to make it wider, and then you already spend time placing down your spline. You don't want to also put the volumes all over your spline, basically. So the reason that I use PCG is I can basically just get actor data with a tag, being the rivers as spline data, and then just filter on the tag. And the tag I gave to the rivers is exclude PCG or whatever, so PCG doesn't spawn trees and shrubs in my river. I only did that for certain things like rocks and debris can be in the river, in my opinion. So that's another reason why I went this way. And since it's all instant static meshes, it's relatively lightweight on the engine and on your project. Of course, this all depends on how you set everything up. You could have seen in the previous part of this video where I showcased it. I use Maui's from the marketplace, Maui's redwood forest, which I think most of the trees, all of it is nanite. Most of the trees I think have 8K textures, if I remember correctly. So they are not very light, and I probably will tune them down to 2 or 4K or something like that. I'm not sure. But they are just relatively heavy in a sense. So we want to get the most out of everything as we can, right? Game dev is all about, as I always call it, fake it till you make it. I am not going to cover in this video, by the way, the whole how to set up PCG, because that's relatively standard and easy, and there are a lot of tutorials about that already. What I will show you is you need to, of course, go to plugins, and you need to turn on. I will put away my webcam now so you guys can see the full extent of the video. and you will have to look for the what is it, the procedural content generation framework, and the second one you could use as well if you want to. I don't think it's needed. Also, I need to mention that this video will work with any blueprint actor and static mesh. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to use the assets that I'm using, basically, is what I want to say. Okay, so once we have the PCG active, we... I'm sorry, guys. I haven't done a lot of tutorials in my life, so I'm trying to get this done as good and quick as I can. It's gonna be a little messy, but the information is gonna be all there. So this is basically, I made a very simple PCG graph right here just to spawn some points and get some meshes going in the level. Now in here it just makes some points and spawns some meshes. I haven't set it all up yet because we kind of need to go through it together. So once you have your PCG graph, you will have to put a PCG volume in your level. I already did that. And in the PCG volume, you have to basically link your graph. You can do it if you have it selected in the content browser here, or just search for it. It's pretty standard procedure. Then we click on generate, and that should start generating stuff. It doesn't do it right now because I haven't set up anything, I think. Let's see. Save this. Pause regen, force regen. I have to think about how this, oh yeah, that's it. This needs to go in there. There we go. All right, and now we can see that we have a lot of blocks inside our volume, right? As per standard PCG. All right, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna assign a few static meshes to these points, and for sake of easiness, let's I have made two tracks here. So one is going to be trees and one is going to be pickup. And then both of these density filters are set to the same value, so they will overlap. So you can either fix that with using what do they call that? The difference node, or you can just, what we're going to do for now, just to keep it easy, I'm going to select this density filter. This is set to 0.5 and 1. I'm going to set this to 0 and 0.5, and then the other one is 0.5 to 1, so they will not overlap. It's just a quick and easy dirty fix, which makes a lot of them. So we're going to set these samplers a little bigger, I think, or we can actually use the density filter to just set it lower. Let's go 0 to 0.3, and for this one 5. Let's go 0.8 to 1 or something. Yeah, so all the black ones and the darker colored ones are the lower numbers. So that's the trees, and the pickups will have the lighter colors. Still a lot of them, but that's okay for now. It doesn't really matter. You can tune this, of course, in your project as need be. The next step, let me think. Yes, we need to put a new object channel in our project settings. Where is it opening? Right here. Oh yeah, there it is. And we need to go over to collision on the left side, and we need to put in an object channel, and we're gonna call it foliage swap, and we're gonna put it on block. I don't know why it's on block, but put it on block as default. I already have it added, so you need to do that. And you might have to restart the engine. I'm not 100% sure. But we need that one. The reason we create an extra object channel is, and that will become clear in a minute, we are going to use our player character, and we're basically going to give him a sphere. I can show that on my original character. We're going to create a new one right now, but if I go to my viewport, you can see here the sphere of the foliage swap trigger. That's what we're going to create in a minute. And this basically checks overlaps with the instant static meshes. And the reason we are creating an extra object channel is if you have a separate object channel, you can set it to only overlap on the foliage instances where we want it to overlap with. So it's not going to generate overlap events with every single thing in the world. Some might say you can also use the world dynamic, but as you can see here, this one is supposed to be on ignore, I'm sorry for that. This foliage swap trigger is set to ignore on everything for our character. We're going to go into this in a second. And it's only overlapping with the foliage swap. And all the foliage instances that we want to swap with will have this object trace channel. So it's only going to generate overlap events when it overlaps with these items. That way we can keep it compact and simple and relatively performant, I guess. We'll have to see how it goes. But now that we have these, we need to set up some... where were we? Here. We need to set up some static meshes in our graph so that we can actually spawn some static meshes. And this is where the object channel comes in. So I'm going to go over to my mountain environment set that I got from the marketplace. You can use any kind of tree that you want. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to go with the Pine 01. And I'm going to go with the Pine 02 over here. But then we're not done yet. Hold on. Hold the phone. Then we put this one in here. And now comes the important part. The collision presets, we want to set them to custom, and then the object type for these trees is going to be the foliage swap that we just created as an object channel. Whatever you called it, this is what you're going to set for the object type. All these collisions can stay the way they are unless you want to change them. It doesn't really matter, because you also still, of course, want like other objects to not phase through the trees. And then your foliage swap is set on block, I believe. We're gonna check that in a minute. I'm not 100% sure how I set that up in the other one. I can actually check that real quick to make sure. I did do quite some preparation, but not everything can be prepped beforehand, right? I'm not a professional. My medium trees is where they're at, and then I check there. Forest 1, Pine 1, and then foliage swap is set to block. Yeah, okay, we did that correctly. Beam. Got it. Okay, next. Oh, now we have placed 2 trees. Jesus, that's a lot of trees. That's okay, doesn't matter. And then we're gonna set up some basic foliage that we want to pick up. I'm gonna go with my fern that I had in the other video, because it's easy, I just have that. I'm gonna actually grab it from my pickup actor so that I'm sure that I have the right one, and then go to the fiber, and then I go to, oh yeah, it's in the data table, of course. Fiber, I'm sorry guys, hold up. Fiber, there we go. And then I grab the static mesh. Now, another thing to keep in mind, you want them to have separate and easy to recognize or like readable static mesh names, because that's what we're gonna check against. So it doesn't have to be easy, but I mean, if they're gonna have like really weird and awkward names, you're just gonna make it harder for yourself. And let's do the rock as well, I guess. The stone, yes, this weird stone thing. Let's go with this one. It's also from Games by Hyper. I think it's a nice one. We also want to set the collision presets in here to custom, and then foliage swap. So that's for the fern. And then we go in here for the stone ore. And then this one also to custom, and the object type to foliage swap. There we go. You can fiddle around with these settings a little bit, of course, that's all fine. The most important thing is setting up the correct object type and trace channels. Okay, now that we have this, right, we have done that. Okay, now these items should be spawned in here. Let me turn off these debug nodes here. And let's see how it looks. Yes, brilliantly horrible. But it is a test, so we want to keep it nice like this. And of course you can make this... What the hell is this? Okay, that's weird. Oh wait, is that because... Yeah, I think I actually... That's because I probably used this one, which I shouldn't have, right? Yeah, there we go. Excuse me, basic PCG stuff. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so now we have our foliage spawned, basically. These are all instant static meshes. If we select our PCG volume right now, you can see here that we have ISMs, which are hierarchical, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm so sorry guys, but hierarchical instant static mesh. Something like that. To the English speakers, it will make sense. And we have our tree here, the other tree, the fern, and the ore stone. Now, if you have a huge landscape, right now we can easily see the instances here. It's only 58 instances of the rock. If you have over, I don't know how many, but in my other project, it will show just like, if you want to click this, you can see them all, but it's gonna take a while for it to load in. So yeah, just be mindful of that when you're working on it. Try to start small and then work your way up, I guess. Alright, now that we have this set up, we need to add the sphere and the other stuff to the character. Let's go to our character. Where do I have it? I think this is it. Yeah. Oh, I clicked the other one away. That's not smart, because that's my reference. Or no. Really, dude? Oh, no, it's here. It's right here. Don't worry. Okay. So first we add a sphere trace, sphere collision thing. Sphere collision to our character, and I'm gonna name it foliage swap _ trigger. Just to keep it simple. Now, we don't have to set a lot of crazy things in here. The only thing that is important to set here... No, we do have to set things here. I'm sorry. We need to set all of them to ignore except the foliage swap, which we want to set to overlap. Because it's going to generate an overlap event. Make sure that the generate overlap events is also ticked if it's not by default. Otherwise, it will not generate an overlap event. And we're going to hit compile and save. And I'm just going to go to some empty space in my event graph here to keep it simple and readable. And then we get into the magic. Almost. First or second, now we need to make a struct. I'm so sorry guys that I'm all over the place. I hope you can follow along. Like I said, I am not a professional at all in creating tutorials. So I'm trying to be as structured as I can, but I have a hard time with my ADHD and everything. My head goes a million miles a minute, so yeah, I'm sorry. We're gonna create a structure, and we're gonna call it something like structure foliage swap, whatever, doesn't really matter. Let me get my blueprints, foliage swapping system. I need to get my references here, of course. Structs. Yeah, so I called it a foliage swapping correlation thing. What I did here, as you can see, I added four variables to it. We're gonna do that right now. The important thing here is I really recommend you, if you haven't done it yet, to create a master, how do you call that? A master class for your foliage pickup actors, so that we can easily work with them. That just makes it a lot easier to set this up. Otherwise, you have to make 1,000,000 entries, and you're not gonna get happy from that. So the first one we're gonna do is static mesh instance. I don't think we're actually using this, but it's always nice to have a reference to it. And this is going to be a static mesh, just a static mesh object object type, not instanced. Keep that in mind. It's just a static mesh, not the what you call it, not the instanced. So static mesh object reference. Come on, there you go. Beam. That's one. The second one, it will be our pickup actor to swap with. So I'm calling this pickup actor swap, or to swap actually, makes it easier. To swap. And this will be the master class of your pickupable actor. So for me that is BP pickup master, I think. A lot of items here. Yeah, here it is. Pickup master. And this is going to be a class reference. Don't make it an object, make it a class reference. This way we can in the data table set up different object, like the actual objects for the pickup. So we can select the child actors of these master class. Okay, then for ease in our code, we're going to create a boolean, and we're gonna call this is pickup actor. By the way, this is the way I did it. I'm not saying this is the best way to do it. This is a way to accomplish what I did. And this is what I figured out with the limited amount of tutorials on this that are out there. I'm sorry that this is a long tutorial. We're already at 22 minutes. I see even more. I'm sorry. But let's just muddle through and let's get it done. The next one is going to be our choppable tree actor. So the tree choppable actor, or whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter. And this will be the master blueprint class reference of your choppable tree. For me, that is the BP material based. Oh god, that's a long one. I think it's one of these, right? Placeable. No, damn it. Choppable tree. Oh god, I'm just gonna get it over here. Can I? No? Ah, shit. Damn. Hold up. Let me get it. Oh my god. Just make it your tree master. Let me look for it for a second. Just kidding. It's right here. Blueprints. This one. Master. There we go. And then this master. I'm just going to F2 to copy the name. Go in here. Control V. And then, why is there so many? Oh, there's 3 masters for everything. Okay, that's fun. I just want the master. Here it is, the first one, of course. And we want the class reference of that one as well. I think that's about it. Yeah, that's it. So we're gonna save this struct, and then we want to create a data table that is under miscellaneous. Bloop. Miscellaneous data table, and then it asks you to pick a row structure, and for this row structure we're going to create use the struct that we just made. So that's struct underscore foliage swap. This is the one that we just created. This is my original one from my reference, and I'm gonna call this DT was auto saving DT foliage swap tut, or whatever. Guess I'll throw this away afterwards. Okay, there we have our structure, or our data table. And what we want to do in here is we want to add a new row, and I believe that here it becomes important to keep an eye out. Let me check this. Yes. Okay, here we go. This is the key. This, guys, this is the key to the kingdom. Listen up. In the data table, we are making the row name the exact same name as the display name of our static meshes that we have in our level right now. So we can easily do this by opening our PCG graph again. I'm going to parent it in here, dock it in there, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to go over my static mesh spawner. I'm going to go into my descriptors, and I am just going to click on the browse to content browser. Then I'm going to hit F2 or rename, Control C, escape to stop renaming it. And then I'm going to go into my data table. I'm going to select the row, going to hit F2 again for rename, and I'm going to Control V for paste the exact name in here. This is very important because this is what we're going to check our overlap against. Now that we've set up the name for this one, we know that it's the pine. Since I have it still selected, I can click pine here. And then here we have the boolean, right? Is this a pickup actor? No, this is going to be a choppable tree. So we don't have to set up the pickup actor and the boolean. We just need to select the child in here. And I am going over to my other data table just to make this short and sweet for future reference. Here we go. Foliage swap. There we go. The pine one is this one. I'll just actually drag this over here so you guys can see what I do. So this is, of course, my other table that I already have with everything that is in the level that can swap. I have the pine forest here as well, so I'm just gonna select it here so I don't have to search through all my directories, because I am not that smart. Oh, this is not working. Okay. In that case, we still have to type it out. Luckily, I named this pine 1, so that makes it easy. I just click this, pine 01. There it is. There is only one. This is the config. Is that correct? No, it's not. God damn it. Okay. It's probably one of these, isn't it? Oh, no, wait, I remember. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. I think what I did is... Damn. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to make this sweet and understandable. I'm having a hard time. I'm gonna click this. Yeah, okay, it's this one. I believe that's why I am trying to make this short and sweet. Look, I have created one child for all my choppable trees because they are all similar in the way they should be chopped. So I have created one tree choppable master child for all my choppable trees, and I've just set it up everywhere, and that's why we are setting the static mesh here as well. I remember. Okay, I'm sorry, it's been a while since I've set this up. So in here we want to find that stupid pine tree. Is it this one? Why is it not in here? Did I select the wrong? Oh, I might have. Material-based choppable tree placeable master. God, these names. Material-based choppable tree master. Material-based choppable tree placeable master. And this is not the placeable master. Okay, I made a mistake in my struct. So that's easily fixed. I'm just gonna type in placeable master and then there we go. This should be it. Yes. Okay. Save your struct. This might ruin your data table a little bit, but it should be fine since we don't have any codes yet or anything. If I now, I have to save this one, I think. And if I now search the pine here, there it is. All right. God, thank you. Okay, that works. Now we also have the pine 2, so what we can do is we can just duplicate this row because it's basically the same. The only thing is, in our PCG tutorial, PCG Graph, we have to go back to our other tree mesh. I'm gonna hit the find in browser, it's right here. Going to select F2 to copy the name, just to be exact, escape twice to get out of the renaming. back to the data table, and the second row that we just created or duplicated, Ctrl V for paste, enter, and that's our new name. We also have to set the static mesh to the Pine 2, I just did, and that's that. Next is the pickup items, and those are in here. So what we're gonna do is first we're gonna grab the fern, gonna click this again, F2, Ctrl C, escape, escape. Gonna go back to our data table. I'm going to add a new row just to keep it cleaner. F2 for rename, Ctrl V, enter. This is the exact same name as my static mesh, as you could have seen. Again, that's important. Now we also set up our static mesh, and this time we have to set up the pickup actor to swap. Now, because we use our master class as a class type in our struct, here I do want to select different children for the pickup actor. I guess we don't necessarily have to, but I think my pickup actors might have some different values in their children, so that I can customize whatever they look like. Or for example, I think my stick is, as a placeable, it's a bit tinier than the static mesh. That needs to be changed because I feel like it is too small, and so the scaling needs to be a bit bigger. Let's see, where is it? My fiber. Here's my fiber child class, and I just go over back to my data table. I click this one to set the fiber, and now we also want to check this boolean. We're basically just going to create a branch in our overlap code to check if it needs to be a pickup actor or a tree. Very simple. All right. And then one more row for the stone, and that's the last one, and then we can finally move on to the interesting code. Again, I am so very sorry that this all takes so long. And then the new row name, change it to the stone one. The static mesh needs to be set to the static mesh of the stone. Why is it not selecting? There we go. And then this needs to be my pickup stone. Therefore, I will just type in the stone. I think that should be fairly straightforward. Stone. Ah, okay, nice. Pickup or stone. I named it correctly. Check the boolean. And I think that's it for the data table. All right. Then we need to add the foliage swap code to the character. So we set up all this backend stuff, which is boring, I know, and I am sorry, but it's necessary. Take a breather, take a sip of the coffee. Okay, next part. Right click on your foliage swap trigger that we've added to our third person character, or first person, doesn't really matter, both will work. And we're gonna get an add-on component, add-on component begin overlap, excuse me. And then I'm just gonna drag it down here to keep my code a bit cleaner and not have you have to look at all the spaghetti that's up there. And then I'm gonna get my reference here. All right. What we are going to do here is, what we want to do is we want to basically, from the, is it the component? Yeah, the other component, drag out your thing and then cast to instanced static mesh component. So the thing here is, and for neatness, you could actually check if the overlapped actor that you're overlapping with is the PCG volume. I found that out later. Just if you want to avoid any issues possibly that come across. But it shouldn't, because the only thing it's overlapping with is the foliage swap object type. So basically this instance static mesh component is the same one that is in our PCG volume, right? So we have our PCG volume here in the level, and what it's gonna overlap with is these ones. So this here you can see it's an hierarchical, how do you pronounce that? Hierarchical, that word, instanced static mesh component. That's what it's gonna overlap with. Now this should work either way. Either if it's an hierarchical instance static mesh component. If it doesn't for you, you can also see if you can cast to the hierarchical instance static mesh component. We might have to do this, but I'm gonna keep it out of the way for now just to check, because this worked in my current project. And then next we need to, basically we're gonna set this as a reference. No, wait. Promote to variable, and I'm gonna call this the ISM comp instance static mesh component underscore ref. And that already exists here, so I can't use that. Wait, hold up. No, fuck off. Okay, I'll just leave it at this, whatever. No, I hate that. ISM ref then. Okay, fine. Shut up. Okay. Then it gets set. What we want to do then is from this, we want to get our static mesh. It's all the way in the bottom. Get static mesh. And then we go over here and we do a get DataTable row. Row names. Yeah. Get DataTable row name. Nope, we don't want this. I'm sorry. Get data table row. Oh, it's the other one here in the bottom. This one. Yes, this is the one we want. What we're going to do here is we're going to select the data table that we created. So that's DT Foliage swap tutorial for me. This is what you just created. And here you see it already has a row name previously selected. What we're going to do here is we're basically just going to drag the static mesh into the row name, and it's going to say, hey, it's not compatible. That's right. So what we're going to do is get display name. Bam. And this is why that name here needs to be the same as the actual static mesh's name. This is why we needed the row name to be the same as the name of the static mesh, because this is what we're going to check against. This was the easiest way I found it to happen. Now we, let's see, what do we do first? Yeah, okay, I'll just continue a little bit ahead. Okay, what we're gonna do here, if row is found, then we are going to get into a branch. And we are going to go out of the out row and break the struct. Break struct foliage swap right here. Here you see the, the variables that we created in our struct and that are set in our data table. Now is pickup actor is going into this branch fairly easily. And then after this, we're going to spawn actor from class. And we're going to do that. We're going to create these twice. And this one is false. So this one will be the tree, right? So if the pickup actor is true, it will spawn our pickup actor to swap. Beam. All right. Oh, let me just adjust that a little bit so it's visible. And then the other actor here, the tree choppable actor, will go in here. Now, we have in my tree chopping master, I'm gonna have to show you that real quick for it to make sense, I guess. In my tree chopping master, I have set up the code to basically... Oh, this is the wrong one again. God damn it. I'm so sorry, guys. I try. Yes, there we go. Okay, this is my tree chopping master. What this one does is it sets the static mesh at begin play. This static mesh is what we're gonna feed in from our data table. That's why we needed this mesh. So what I've done is I created a, well, I called it apparent, yeah. So I created it, I named it original static mesh. I don't know why, but we have a static mesh component in here, and we're basically gonna feed our static mesh into it. So it's exposed, it's public, and it's exposed on spawn. So that way we can set it. We're gonna drag this static mesh instance into the original static mesh variable on here. And that will do. So that is that. Next, we need, of course, to make sure that these spawn at the right location. So we're gonna come out of our sweep result, and we're gonna basically break the hit result. Gonna expand this, and in here, oh yeah, this is why this system works so well. And this one I have to give some credit to, oh, what is his name? The user Rainy, I guess that it stands for, on Reddit. He found this out with his community. It was literally the only other video that showed this in some extent, but with the procedural foliage system. This hit item is gonna have the index of our instance static mesh component. So the way that this works, right? This is, yeah, okay, this is gonna break right now because I need to set some variables. The thing is, all these ones are instances, right? And as you can see here, they are indexed in an array. So index 0 right here has a transform. And we want to get the transform of those indexes so we know exactly which index we hit. If we overlap with this tree, we only want to overlap with this instance of the tree and not all of them. And if we get the hit item index, we get the index of this tree. And this index of this tree, as you saw just here when I had it selected, I don't know which instance this is, but it has the transform of the instance. And this transform we can use to spawn our actor at the correct location, or transform. So what we're gonna do here is hit item, and we're gonna do, hold up, we're first going to get our ISM ref, instance static mesh ref, and we're gonna do a get instance transform. And then the instance index will be the hit item beam. I ticked world space as well. I don't know why I did that, but that's how we do it. Then let me check my code here. Yes, okay. Then this transform, the out instance transform, is gonna be fed in both items, because only one of them will be called depending on what we overlap with. And of course you can expand your system with way more pickup or other interactable items, right? This example has trees and pickup actors. You can make it anything you want. If you want to use mineable rock instances as well, you can just create those as well. It doesn't just limits us here, okay? All right. Then in the end, what I did is I created two print statements over here, which just indicate us or show us that we have done this. Print string. It's just for a little debugging, right? To make sure that it works. And then append. And what I did here was get out and then display name. So put this in the bottom one. And then here I said something like pickup actor swapped colon spaces to make it clean. Give this some color and some letters. This is not really important. You can just set this up if you want. This is just optional just to make sure it works, right? Copy and paste it down here and do the same for the tree. get this one in here. I'm going a little bit faster now, if you have noticed. I'm sorry, that's because it's taking way too long and I feel like people don't want to wait this long for their results. And I'm gonna make this one just a hard red or something, so that is, I said red, there you go. The other one is pink and this one is red. And then the last part of this important puzzle, well, it's not the last part, but it's a part. Remove instance. I guess we have to get our ref again, otherwise the context thingy is not gonna find it. Remove instance. And in here, we are both going to just put these outputs in this single thing. And then all the way back from our hit item over here. You could make this a local variable, I guess, if you want to make it less spaghetti looking. That's all up to you. For the sake of the tutorial, I'll just keep it like this. Just add a reroute node to make it a little bit cleaner, I guess. And there we go. Okay. This is all we need to set up in our character here. Let's think. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna save this. I believe, now that I'm thinking of it, another thing that was important for me to change, otherwise it didn't work. Gonna quickly think. So I have my pickup master, right? And my tree choppable master is here. I think my static mesh I had to set to, no, that's still damageable, but I had to block foliage swap possibly. Let's see. There was something about this that didn't allow me to swap them out at will. And I believe I had to change the object type of my static meshes in the... No, this is also fine. Okay, apparently this needs to be on block as well, I guess. I'm not sure anymore. Thought I ran into something, but maybe I'm just drunk. I don't know. Okay, doesn't matter. Forget that. Okay, yes, okay, next. The last and final part, before we can finally test if this whole thing has worked, is we need to swap them back, right? Because it's nice now that at runtime we can swap these static meshes into actors. But if I walk past all these trees, every single one of them, I don't want them to always be an actor, because then it's still gonna make it run and feel like shit, right? So what we're gonna do now is we need to set it up so that it swaps back to the instance. How are we gonna do that? Going to think real quick. So this whole code is part of my pickup actor. That is not something I written. This is from Games by Hyper, like I said before. The thing with this one is that it has respawn logic. So as you can see in my original code here is it basically, the pickup masters have a respawn code that basically, if you destroy this actor, does it have a respawn? Yes. Then it basically is going to destroy all the components. And then the respawn timer runs, and then it's checking if it should respawn in a random radius. And then it gets all these logic from the existing item, right? So then it spawns a new actor after the respawn time, which is fed into the delay. The respawn timer runs out of time. Then it spawns the new actor and destroys the current one. So it becomes pick-upable again, basically. I have kind of leveraged this system. The thing is, most systems in this way basically would use the end overlap on component in your character. So here we do a begin overlap, and most systems would do an end overlap and swap it back. The problem is, if I have picked up my item, and then I need to build in extra checks because I kind of went another way now. I think, now that I'm thinking about it out loud, could have done it the other way as well. The thing is, if I use the end overlap, it will always put back the instance, even if I picked it up. That means that you would basically get an instant, pick upable again. And then it kind of, yeah, it breaks the whole gameplay, I guess. I hope it makes sense if you hear me ramble. Probably not, but it's fine. What I did is I added a isFoliageSwap boolean as a variable, and I think in my code, I'll show you my original code. That is this one, right? Yeah. I set isFoliageSwap on this spawned actor, and I've set it to does respawn. That of course depends on the item that you're putting down. Oh, and I give it an ISM comp reference as well. So that's something we need to fix in our current code. So I've added the foliage swap to my pickup actor. It does respawn, and it needs the reference because this is, yeah, somehow important. So now that that is all fed in there, I think I also customized the respawn timer. No, I haven't yet. Oh, that's fun. So what I'm planning to do in the future is the respawn timer for now is set on 30 seconds for testing purposes. I want to make this a random in range and then set it between, I don't know, 3 and 5 minutes or something like that. Okay, another sip of coffee to gather my thoughts. All right. Back in our pickup master. If the foliage swap is set, we are going, it's true, and then we are going to add an instance. That is why we need this reference. And this event is currently not used, so forget about that. So in the end, it's going to swap the foliage back to an instance, right? So that's why we have that reference. That is the same one that we feed into the spawn actor, and that is the one that we got from the overlapping, right? By casting. Okay. Then we have also the spawn position. This is actually the spawn position that is a variable in this pickup master that I just fed in. You could get its current location. It doesn't really matter because it is the current transform of this actor where the instance needs to come back as well. The only thing that happens in this situation is that your indexes are not going to be the same. Now for me it doesn't matter because I don't even know if it's important. I don't think it is for me. So it doesn't really matter for me. But if the foliage swap is true, after the respawn time, it will add the instance back to the instance static mesh component. Therefore, we're basically swapping the actor back to an instance, and then we destroy the actor so that the instance is left. So that's actually all you have to do. So basically, after where you normally would destroy your pickup actor, you would first add the instance back to the instant static mesh component. Jeebus. Okay. And that same goes for the tree. Now for me, because like I said somewhere in the beginning, this tree is a supermaster that gets spawned first. And then it's basically the actor to spawn is the one that I set in the character. So this tree choppable actor is fed into the spawn actor as a... is that correct? Not 100% sure. I think it is. However, it will work possibly. Is this the correct one? No, this is, yeah, it is. Right? Yeah, it is. Okay, I'm sorry. It's I'm getting a little bit. Okay, so what we do basically, I do at begin play, because when this actor gets spawned in the world by overlapping with our character on the instant static mesh, it will spawn this actor and then its begin play will start. it will set the mesh to the mesh that we fed in from our data table. It will then have a 10-second delay, and after that it will add the instance again on the transform of this current actor. Here you can actually see that I do it this way. And then it will destroy this actor. That is because if this actor gets any, here it says chaos tree, that's not correct, but if this actor ever gets a point damage, in our case that will be from swiping with the axe, it will swap it into the actual choppable tree. Therefore, doing it this way, make sure that we only swap it back if the tree isn't chopped. If the tree is chopped, it will not be this actor anymore. And I just kind of went with it that the person who would be overlapping with the tree, the player, would start chopping it within 10 seconds. And if he doesn't, and he's still standing next to it, then it basically will do the event overlap check again, and then it just becomes an actor again. It's not the cleanest solution, but it works, I guess. Now comes the moment of truth, checking if we done it correctly. And I am so afraid that I missed a step in my own process, but I guess we're just gonna test it out. Let me set the game mode override here to game mode inventory and change this character to the inventory PCG tut, because that's the one that we just created. I'm gonna save everything and pray to gods that it works. So we need to keep an eye out for the print statements and see if it worked, right? Let's see if we did it correctly. Okay, no print statements. Okay, we missed something. Interesting. Okay. That's fine. Now, one reason that this is not working could be because we need to cast to that hierarchical thing reference, right? So let's try that, because this is, for me, is also new. Never has failed me before. So we're gonna try it like this, see if this works, and if it doesn't, then we fucked something up, and I will just look back in my code off camera and get back to you with the solution if I found one. Let's see, is this it? Nope, it's not. Oh my god. You know what I think it is? I think I know what it is. I added the sphere to the character, but I didn't scale it. No, see? Okay, that's it. Hopefully. In my character, I expanded the sphere and I set it to a sphere radius of 200. Let's do that here as well, just to make sure. Beam. And let's check now if it works. I am going to first change it back to the normal event here, just to see if that works first. Debugging while on camera. Oh my god. Let's go. Nope. Okay. Well, that's not great. Let's swap it one more time to the hierarchical thing, and if that doesn't work, I will figure it out off camera by putting in some breakpoints, and we can get it done, I guess. Okay, it doesn't work. I don't know why. I will figure it out, and I'll get back to you in a second. Okay, yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I found the issue. It's actually quite simple. I think I'll try to also work this backwards in somewhere in the video during editing. I don't know if it's gonna work out well. But basically what we need to do is I'm gonna turn off the cam again, but I just wanted to look you in the eyes and say that I was fucking stupid and didn't see it. I'm sorry. Again, I'm sorry that this video is already so long. Bear with me, or feel free to just flash the frick forward. We'll see. Okay, let's go. It's nice that I say it now after like an hour, but okay, let's go. So what we need to do is we need to select our PCG volume in our world outliner. The one little thing, of course, it was a collision issue. Everybody who knows me during development knows that I am collision issue thirsty, I guess. I don't know. It was stupid, but we need to select all of the, how do you say that? All of the instant static mesh components inside our PCG volume. And this is only for the ones that we want to swap. Because in my other level, I have all the other big ass redwood trees. The sequoias are also in PCG. Those do not need to overlap, so we don't have to set it for those. But for the ones that we do want it to, and which are these ones, so if you want them to swap, you need to set their collision in this component as well, because we are, of course, checking against the overlap of the static mesh component, instant static mesh component. And therefore, during testing, I already did that. These are set to, I believe, world dynamic or something by default. So you need to go through each of the components in your PCG volume and set them to custom and have the foliage swap as the object type again. And then set their collision to block on the foliage swap. All right. So that's what we need to do for all of them. I already did that. As you can see here, while I select them, the foliage swap, foliage swap, foliage swap, foliage, etc. Now we can test it again and we'll see that it actually works. Oh my god. Here, now we can pick them up. Oh, I think the simulate physics is on for the rocks. That's weird. But as you can see, they swap. Yeah. Physics on the stones need to be turned off, as you can see. That's funny. They just sink through the floor because they're already halfway in the floor. Oh, I wonder how that works, though. After the respawn timer, after they have been falling through the floor for 30 seconds, here they... Okay, yeah. Oh, where did the tree... what's going on here? Did we mess up another... I think, I don't know, maybe the landscape here is just a bit weird. I don't know. Here we can chop the tree. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, it goes down. Now if I walk towards this one, it gets swapped. And now we need to make sure that it also swaps back after 10 seconds of not overlapping anymore. Keep an eye. Yeah, they did. But the instance is not set correctly. That's interesting. That is interesting. Okay. Wow. So much stuff going on here. Okay. I have to look into that as well. Why is that happening? Probably just some stupid... Could it be a collision setting? I'm not sure. Well, that's three. Yeah, it also disappears. Interesting. This one too. Yeah, let me look into that as well. I think that will have to do with some collision errors. Yeah, this is all because my character already has a lot of references to items that are not in this level. Let's see. What is this? Definitely collision, of course. Well, first of all, I need to tick this override simulate physics, I think. Because somehow my rock pickup actor... showing physics. That's weird anyway. But that's okay. I want to know why my trees fall through the floor. Oh, that's why. Look, I forgot to set the reference to the tree as well. So it can't find the location of the tree. That's very important, guys. Make sure that you feed both of the actors the reference. So your tree also needs to have the reference. Is this my tree? Yeah, it is. It also needs the reference right here. So that you can basically set the instance back, right? And I guess this exists because it was fed through spawn. Oh, it's here because it's red. Yeah, okay. Basically, what you want to do is add the variable, and then it's gonna be an instance static mesh component type on both of the actors, and that you will feed back into the add instance. And because we didn't pass the reference through on our spawned actor like we do now, it didn't get the instance couldn't get added again. So let's check if it works now. Now you will probably see that my ferns will have physics. No, they do not. Oh, great. Okay. All right. So we have these three set up. They are swapped for pickups. Now they are swapped back to instance static meshes and the tree as well. Bam. It works. We did it, guys. Congratulations. If you have followed this tutorial to the letter through all my mistakes, it works now. I'm gonna pick up some actors and you will see that after 30 seconds they will spawn back there as their instances, as I have set it up with the respawn timer on destroy and everything. So yeah, that's about it, guys. I'm sorry again that this video is so bleeping long. I'll try to put in timestamps or whatever I can, and otherwise you just have to basically flash forward, or fast forward is what it's called, through the video, put it at 1.25 or whatever, or more. Yeah, this was the tutorial on how to get a BleepTon of instance static meshes into your level. Of course, we tried this on a smaller scale. Just for the sake of possibilities, let's expand this. Yeah, you know what? Let's just do one more thing just to show you guys that this is working nicely. Let's select our PCG volume, make it whatever, 200. Is that a nice number? Maybe. Yeah, sure. Let's make it 500 by 500. Hello, by 500. Then it rescales everything. There you go. And we will just basically, that's nice. Looks kind of nice. All right. And if these were all actors, spawned actors, your whole outliner would be full right now with, if you use in PCG the spawn actor instead of spawn static mesh node, it will spawn the actors in your outliner here, which is basically going to create a whole bunch of noisy shit, and if you try to move them into a folder it will break and it's terrible. So this way it's neato. Look at how many foliages we have. We can actually go in here and see how many instances we have now. This one has, where is it? It's underneath collision, isn't it? Yeah, here it is. This has 9,500 instances for the Pine 1. This is probably about 9,000 as well. Yeah, 9.1. Our Fern has 6,000 and our Stone has 6.2 thousand instances spawned now in the level. I know it's not 300,000, but it's not needed to show you that this works, kind of. What's going on right now? Oh, PCG spatially loaded or what? Or do the trees have distance culling? I don't know. Does it really matter? I guess not. Generate unload. Yeah, it's set to, okay, well, whatever. Let's see if we play in the level now, if it comes back. Where the hell are my trees? Huh, weird. Oh, here they go. Probably have some distance culling on them or something. I don't know. But as you can see in the top left, they're all being swapped for their actors. And then eventually you also see the shorter print statements of them being swapped back to the instance static meshes. Now I know this looks a bit weird with the distance culling. I don't know why that's happening. It's probably something with the LODs and shit that I have not set up myself. Yeah. Maybe it's the engine saving me something. I don't know. Yeah, check out if this happens for you too in your level. It might just be performance saving by PCG or whatever. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know. Maybe because there's only a certain amount of actors allowed in the level at the same time, or I'm not sure. But check it out, see if this works for you. If it doesn't, feel free to reach out on Discord, in the YouTube comments or whatever. I gladly try to help if I can, but I am not at all the most knowledgeable Unreal Engine guy. I just have found this out with the help of other people on Reddit, and I will tag them in the Reddit post. But yeah, this is basically what I've got going right now, and it works, as you can see. Try it for yourself. Let me know if it works for you too. Like I said, if you need any help, feel free to reach out. But I'll try to help. But again, I'm not a pro. I'm basically, if I can call myself an intermediate, I think it's already overstating it. So I don't know. Yeah, but I hope this helped you. Please share this video if it helps you along with your other fellow devs, and please give some credits where credits are due. You can find this video on my YouTube channel, ThirstyThursten. Feel free to check out my project, Yosemite Forest Ranger, on Steam as well. Working very hard on it as a solo indie dev. Yeah, I hope this video helped you out again. And thank you so much for watching and being patient with me through this way too long video. I'm sorry. So yeah, thank you, and I hope the quality was better this time. Thank you everybody for the positive feedback and positive messages on the video from the day before when I showed that I did this. I really appreciate all of you reaching out and being so positive. It really helps and motivates people to do tutorials like this and show what we're working on. Yeah, thank you so much. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day and weekend. It is today, so yeah. See you all in the next one. My name is ThirstyThursten from TT Studios. I'm working on a project called Yosemite Forest Ranger, and I hope to see you all in another video. Bye! Good luck on your projects!